ready? You guys ready? Last man, you ready? Last man's ready. Point! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, get out for CJ Monias. Get out for CJ coming to stage, guys. Let's go!
How's it going, guys? You guys doing good? Yeah, I like that energy. You know, it turns out I'm a different type of Indian. You know, I had somebody the other day call me Crip Walks with Wolves. I thought that was pretty insensitive, you know, considering I'm a blood. No, but I am native, I am indigenous, you know. He only has me here for tax purposes. No, I'm actually here to do the land acknowledgement. I just want to acknowledge that I love what you guys did with the place. Oh, man. No, but, you know, I do have people, like, say mean things to me sometimes because I'm native, you know. I had somebody come up to me, they're like, hey, you're poor. You own a teepee. I'm like, first of all, it's a bit much. I don't own a teepee. I rent. I don't have teepee homeownership money yet. No, but I do come from a reserve, you know, because that's where you put us, you know. But it's a small town, you know. It's a 16-hour drive from here, and I love coming to the city, though, you know, because you guys get to use the apps when you guys did, you know, like Tinder. You know, I come from a small town. I tried using Tinder there. There was only 4 people on it. All my aunts. I'm like still swiping right on all of them, you know, sending super likes. You like that one, right? No, do I have any weed smokers in the house? People that smoke weed? Oh, yeah. You know how like it used to be scary buying weed a long time ago? You know, they had to know someone who knew somebody else who was a murderer, you know? But like the whole weed buying experience changed after they legalized it, you know? Now you go to the Apple store of weed pretty much now. You got like these cute girl drug dealers there, they're like, oh, this weed right here is a low-mid hybrid. It's a 29% THC. You know, it smells very earthy and pungent, and it's also very good for your aura, you know? But before, when you get it from the drug dealer, you'd be like, yo, this weed right here, it'll kill you. It smells like a skunk's asshole, you know? But also, it's very good for your aura, you know? You know, I have people ask me like weird things sometimes because I'm indigenous. You know, I had somebody ask me if I can communicate with animals. I can talk to cougars. Hell yeah, you know, where the cougars at? I can even track them down too, you know. That tastes like a lot of vodka. You know? It tastes like Metamucil. She has high blood pressure, she's nearby. East. We gotta go east? No, she has a yeast infection. Oh, man. You know, I'm designing this app that tells you when rich people are out of their home so you can go inside their house and rob them. It's called Airbnb. Oh, man. You know, is it just me, or is like Wikipedia slowly becoming a crackhead, you know? Every time I go on Wikipedia, they're like, hey, you got $2.75 to get a Wikipedia, you know? You got $15 to donate to Wikipedia. I'm like, damn, Wikipedia, I just want to know what movies Tom Cruise was in, you know? That's all I need you for. You know there's women on OnlyFans making more than Wikipedia right now? I'm on Wikipedia, like, you want this $15, you gotta start showing me some feet, you know? Call it Wikipedia. Hey, there we go. You know, I do have a daughter, you know, my daughter's 11, you know, and she knows that I do stand-up comedy. The other day she was like, hey Dad, I have a joke for you to tell on stage. And I was like, oh, what is it? And she's like, oh, what do you need to wear when you sneeze? And I was like, what? And he says, a hat and a shoe. A hat shoe. I was like, that's kind of funny. She also wrote the yeast infection joke. My sister. My sister just recently came out. She came out as a lesbian. Or as a gay. I don't really know what she prefers to be called. I just know what she prefers not to be called. She doesn't like it when I call her a fur trader. Like, you don't want me to call you out, you better shave it down there. Or scalp it. You should call your pussy Christopher Columbus, It looks like a smallpox blanket down there. These are historical jokes. You guys are smart people. Cool, awesome. You know your history, awesome. Anybody here ever encountered a bear? Yeah. No? Do you guys know what you're supposed to do when you encounter a bear?
Bite it.
Bite it? What?
Play dead.
Play dead, yeah, okay. I thought you said bite it. I was like, what? I was like, this guy's kinky, man. I was like, oh. And any other thing you're supposed to do when you encounter a bear? Be big. That's one of the things I hear. They say pretend to be big. They say that, pretend to be big. I think people misconstrue that. I think what they mean is be the bigger person and walk away. Because that's what my mom would tell me to do if I got in trouble, if I got into a fight or something. She'd be like, just walk away from that situation. And I did encounter a bear once, and that's what I was like, you know what, bear? This is beneath me. I'm bigger than, I'm going to remove myself from this toxic situation. And the bear was like, that's very courageous of you. I'm just having a very shitty day. And I was like, holy shit, I can't talk to animals. I have to stop doing shrooms with my white friends. Because every time they start freaking out and seeing things, they're trying to get me to interpret their visions. I'm like, what do I look like, a native mystic? An Indian guide? If you're doing drugs with me, your future's not too good. There we go. Sometimes when I'm scrolling online, I see people posting like motivational memes. Like, you ever see the one where people are using icebergs as a metaphor for success? When was the last time an iceberg was successful at something? I'll tell you, 1912. I love that movie. Sometimes I see people posting motivational selfies as well. But sometimes it gets confusing because sometimes they post a motivational selfie, but they're in the washroom and they put a caption there. But because it's in the washroom, it becomes confusing. Like I saw this one person post like, "Hey, when it gets tougher, you got to keep on pushing." When it gets, I saw this other person post, when it gets messy, you just got to clean yourself up and get up. I'm like, what happened in there? I saw this other person post, sometimes you gotta sweat blood, sweat, and tears. I'm like, I think you need to go see a doctor. Yeah. She knows what I'm talking about. Oh man, you ever watch movies with people that complain about the computer graphics? You guys ever watch it? Isn't it annoying watching movies with people like that? They're like, oh, that monster looks so fake. That monster looks computer animated. I'm like, chill. It's a rom-com, and that's Nicole Kidman. Excuse me. I love Montreal. I love Montreal. It's a very unrelenting city. It's a very shameless city. Montreal's not afraid to repurpose its old church buildings into nightclubs and strip clubs. Now, when I go into a church, I actually do want to get touched. Yeah. Do you have any people that speak French here? People speak French. You guys understand French? Yeah. I grew up in Quebec, and it was very hard for me to understand French, it was very confusing too, I was very scared to eat the bread Because on the bread it would say 100% pain. I'm like, that's some hardcore bread you guys got here. I started dating freaky women now. I took this one girl out on a date, and we ended up in bed, and while we were having sex, she wanted me to pull on her hair. But she forgot that she was wearing a wig. I thought I scalped her. I was like, I didn't know he did that still. Yeah. But they like it when you dirty talk them during sex, they like it when you say things like, oh, whose pussy is this, I like to say, whose land is this? And they're like, rightfully yours. I don't even ejaculate, I just shed a single tear. Anyway, that's my time, guys. Hope you guys have a good night. Give it up for your host, Ali Mohamadi. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Guys, let me go over CJ. Come on, give it